This is Invaders 2 from the 90s. This was a mini-series, and it is one that I always come back to and remember fondly, mainly because of the great art by Dave Edgar Hoover. After this, he was brought on to Captain America as that book's regular artist, and he did the art for the last 20 or so issues that Marky Mark wrote. Very good artist. This series is written by Roger Thomas, who created the Invaders in the 70s. And sadly, this is another World War II story, another period piece, another retcon adventure. I think it would have been much better to have reunited the team in the modern day. You could do most of this story with a present day setting. It's only a few secondary characters who had since been retired or died who present any problem, like Miss America here. But in this case, just introduce a new feisty Latino bisexual lesbian version that would have the books flying off the shelves. And Miss America, she starts off the issue by crashing through the window of the Invaders' headquarters. She has just narrowly escaped from a bunch of superpowered Nazi agents. And this whole sequence, I would say that this is ripped off from a Jimothy Shooter Avengers story, a Ultron one where it starts off with Wasps doing this exact same thing. She crashes through the window to warn the rest of the team that she had just escaped from Ultron. I should probably point out that when my channel descends into Notebook Captain America reviews, that is a sign that I am not doing too well mentally. I am having one of me manic depressive lows. I was once actually diagnosed as being bipolar, but then I realised that I wasn't bipolar because I never had the eyes. Captain America, well, classic Captain America like this, it is like my comfort food. I have actually built up a big pile of comics that I need to get around to reviewing, but I just cannot find the will or the motivation to actually talk about a pretty lousy Flask story that I read, or a really bad Tiny Titans annual that I got through. So instead, here is a series I like. Invaders from the 90s, 1993 I think. Our plot is kinda simple. There is a team of Nazi-affiliated bad guys who are ganning around and beating up all the invaders. Last issue, they steamrolled all over Captain America and Seaman and the original Human Fire. And now we are seeing the white, heterosexual Miss America recovering from an attack where they beat both her and her husband. Her husband is another member of the Invaders called Yellow Flash. They also kidnapped him, and I'm quite excited about that because I really cannot remember the plot point or the reasoning for it. So the team, they gone off to investigate and track down the bad guys, and Plastic Man, he stays behind at the base to coordinate things. We see a lot more of this character, Plastic Man, in that other Invaders series that I am also looking at. And another thing that I want to say about that book, I want to point out that the whole thing with Plastic Man, with him organising that team and secretly being like their leader, that is again all building on stuff from art comics. Like here, Plastic Man, he was always like the member of the Invaders that they always left behind back at base to keep an eye on things, or to do research, or look up things, or contact various people. And he isn't the only link you'll see in this issue to that other series. And here are our team of villains. And what is intriguing about these is they are all American superheroes who became turncoats and joined forces with the Nazis. Also, they are all public domain characters who come from other comic book publishers who had gone out of business. The main one here, the team leader, Dr. Death, you might actually recognise him. He goes on to have a lot more appearances in the Excellent Men books. And the annoying thing about that is they never in any way acknowledge or reflect that his only previous appearance in a Marvel comic was as a Nazi-aligned bad guy. I mean, him and Mr. Magnets, they share loads of scenes together, and it's just never mentioned. Seaman and the Human Fire, they have gone to look in on an ally of the team from the original series. A Jewish professor who was transformed into a super-powered golem, and he helped the team fight a man in a bullet costume. I am much more captivated by this Bullet Man, but we won't learn any more about him. He was apparently in the original series, and I really want to know much more. Instead, the heroes, they discover they have arrived too late, and that Dr. Death is already there. And this Jewish man has, for some reason, decided to help Dr. Death, so he transforms into the Golem again, and we get a fight between him and the two Invaders. It is short, but I really enjoyed it. Great art, and any fight that ends with Seaman getting his arse kicked and then left to die in a burning building, well, that is okay by my watch. But then Seaman is saved by another Golden Age superhero. It is the Atomic Skull from that other Invaders series I have been reviewing. He had come to investigate this fire, and he saved Seaman. This is also back before Atomic Skull went crazy, before he had been a prisoner of war in the Middle East for decades and had gone bonkers. So there's none of the wacky Dead Pill style hijinks from him. Then Seaman, he causes a lot of property damage just so that he can drench himself in some water again. Then we cut to Captain America and the undiverse Miss America. They have gone to look into a college campus and the lab there, and they find that a bunch of the other villains are already there, so they run into action, and these baddies, they are quite quick to defeat the two heroes. But then we have some really, really ugly artwork to advertise an Excellent Men game. I don't know if this is the one that I used to have, I had one excellent main game for the Mega Drive. Is this the one? Do you start off as Wolfman and you can climb up walls with your claws, and then you have to fight Saberclaw? Like, is Saberclaw the first boss? That is all I can remember, really. But enough about Mega Drive games, because here is a superhero wearing an armour that looks like it is made up of about 30 Mega Drive consoles. This is Silver Scarab. She works as a secretary on the University campus, and that is mighty convenient. She starts fighting the bad guys, and in the process, she saves Captain America and the boring, uninclusive version of Miss America. So then they decide to run away, and we learn little bits about Silver Scarab's backstory. And the weird thing about Silver Scarab was she's an art character. She's another Golden Age character. But they actually redesigned her in this series. This armour, the Silver Mega Drive armour, if you couldn't tell by it being incredibly 90s, this wasn't her original look. Despite her being called the Silver Scarab, she never wore a silver costume before this. Anyway, she joins the Invaders to go after them evil bad guys who come from long defunct comic book companies and stop whatever their evil Nazi plan is. I will admit this is mostly a fight comic. Both this and the first issue, it's just the Invaders fighting these characters from other companies. I wonder if there was anyone reading this who was aware of them characters and their previous appearances. Like if there was a huge Dr. Death fan reading it, or a Spider Queen fanboy who was really upset these characters were being adopted by Marvel and also made into Nazis. I like this comic. It is harmless and it has good artwork, so I'll give it a 7 thumbs up rating.